am recording this, so we will be posting this in other places, so we'll let you know, certainly on our YouTube channel. So good morning. Thank you for joining. For those of you who might not know who kind of screwed up the link this morning, I'm Linda Maupin, Executive Director of the Family Support Center. And I'd like to thank all the community breakfast sponsoring organizations that work together to bring you this, hold on, I'm going to let more in, to bring you the quarterly breakfast. And that would include Great Start Collaborative, CASA, DHHS Foster Care, Family Promise, Berry County Courts, and the Family Support Center. So thank all of you for your work. Please note that we're recording today's presentation, as I mentioned, and we also have a Facebook page now. And Martha, if you could put that in the chat for everybody so that they know how to get to see future information on future events. So hopefully you brought your breakfast or a snack to enjoy during the presentations. Today we have Pastor Ken Scheck from the Grace Lutheran Church with us, and he's going to open us with prayer now that he's gotten the right link. Good morning, Pastor Ken.
Good morning. Good to be with all of you. May we bow our heads or our hearts in prayers. Gracious and merciful God, you give us the help that we need. Support all those who suffer and are heavy and burdened with your steadfast love. By the power of your Spirit, free us from distress and give those who are wanting to hurt themselves a new mind and heart, that they can know the new life they have in you. All this we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. I'm going to launch, hopefully, a short poll. If you would take that poll, can you see that? I'll give you just another minute or two. Okay, I'm going to end the polling and share the results. And I don't, can everybody see those results? 97% of us know someone who's been impacted by suicide, and 53% of us have been personally impacted. A lot of us have had training and are aware of the issues. So obviously, most of us have been touched by suicide in some way. As a comparison, in 2011, Berry County suffered 7 suicide deaths, 6 of which were male, 1 was female. The average age was 43. And if you fast forward to 2020, our county experienced 9 deaths by suicide. All were male, and the average age was 53. While this may be an uncomfortable and sad topic to discuss, the more we know about it, the more chance we have of making a positive impact. Our first speaker, Beth Smith, is the president of the Facebook group Delton Rocks and the Shack. Beth has lived in Michigan for 23 years with her family, and all 4 graduated from the Delton Kellogg schools. Beth worked as a paraprofessional and then a middle school secretary for Delton, and then went back to school herself. She graduated from Western in 2010 and went to work for Berry Intermediate Schools as a speech language pathologist. she's been serving children with communication needs and families ever since the past June. Beth received her best title ever of Nana to her now 8-month-old grandson. So over to you, Beth. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys. I'm glad everybody made it. It's such an honor to be here. I love to talk, and I'm going to adjust my time so Liz can do her thing as she planned, because mine is very flexible. Recognize a lot of names, and then there are a lot of new names to me. So I'm glad to get to speak to you, and I hope this is relevant in ways. It's very near and dear to my heart, and I'm going to try to share my screen. This is the first time I've tried to do a PowerPoint by Zoom, so please give me grace here. The host, you need to give me power.
Yep, go ahead. You have power.
Okay, I have power now. Awesome.
Yes.
All right.
Liz, is this you?
This must be, sorry.
Yeah. Let's try,
Okay.
let's try again.
Can you see me or are you seeing Liz?
Right
We
now
see you.
Yep.
Okay. So Delton Rocks, as you've heard, it's a Facebook group, and right now we have about 1,300 members, and I'm going to just kind of tell you what we're about and then tell you how it started, which is out of order for me, but we're going to try it.
Have you
Okay.
shared a screen, Beth?
Yeah, Beth, you need to share the screen again. Sorry, Liz got in there ahead of you.
How are we doing?
Good.
From the beginning. All right, does that look better?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'm glad I didn't go very far. All right, so Facebook group Delton Rocks. And what we are on Facebook because we wanted a way to connect with people, encourage people, help be encouraged by people, share ideas, find ways to use our gifts and talents. We really wanted to help our community. And there were a lot of hurting people in 2011, as we'll talk about. Delton Rocks has rallied suicide prevention and anti-bullying and support our schools, such as Be Nice and Live, Laugh, Love. We've supported our community, passed out hundreds of the little pamphlets for suicide prevention and several rounds of bracelets. We were able to pass out bracelets to the schools, to the high school several times, obviously not during COVID. And then we've also had the opportunity to help bring speakers to Delton High School, and Kinetic Effect came twice. We got a YAT grant for some of those, so that was amazing to do and be able to be a part of. We didn't want to create anything. We really didn't. We just wanted to be a part of something and really help promote what was already happening in our schools and happening in our community. So right now, I tried to find out what else was happening in our community, and I can say that whatever we're doing, we always feel like we need more. So I'm just going to keep that in the back of my mind. And if we hear ideas today, I want to be able to jump in as well, as I'm sure you guys do. So some of the things we did, it all started with the suicides that we had in 2011 and 2012. We lost several young adults, and that was very devastating for our community. And so one of the mothers put on Facebook that she was having a prayer vigil and asked the pastor to come and people to come. And it was only on Facebook for about 2 days, and we had over 200 people show up to the prayer vigil. And at the prayer vigil, it was discussed to use our gifts and talents and support our community and help support our kids. And so afterwards, my now good friend, then acquaintance, Kathy, talked to me, and she said, I don't know what my gifts and talents are. I just like to talk. I'm a good talker. And so I said, well, maybe you should make a Facebook group. And the crazy lady went and did it. And she called it Delton Parents Unite and Support, which is an amazing name, not such an amazing acronym. So what we found out 2 hours later, 4 hours later, over 60 people had joined Delton PUS. So what do? We're going to change the acronym, but we're going to keep the group. We ended up with over 1,000 people by the next morning. And then Kathy was calling me saying, I quit. I don't know what we're doing. Why did we do this? What do we do now? So we had a face-to-face meeting. I said, you can't quit. If we quit, we both quit. Let's figure this out. So we met and we had some good ideas. Bonnie Geddes came and said, not only do you need to keep this group, but you need to come under our wing at the Berry Community Foundation. And we have an account that you can take over, already started from Delton, and we want you to do that. And we said, what? Okay. We'll follow your.
Hi.
And so.
Have you noticed if you're going over 70, the car's like shaking really bad? I don't know if
Okay, I
it's just
don't know.
because it's really cold or what.
So can you guys
No, I
still
haven't
hear me?
noticed that. There's probably some sort of ice build up or
After
Can we
that,
mute people?
Hold on, I'm
Yeah.
gonna try to mute.
I'll
I'm
just
so
go second.
sorry.
that's okay.
Sounds good.
All right.
Okay, Beth, you will have to unmute yourself. Please, thank you.
All right, can you hear
Thank you.
me?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, no problem. So at our first meeting, we decided we were going to have a life walk. And as you can see, we held that at the track and we had a really good turnout. People were really excited to come out and show their support, made signs, and we just really wanted to support our kids. And what you can see is in the middle of the field, kids were playing ball and just having a good time being together. And it was just a really uplifting time. And we also came out with Delton Rocks, which is reaching our community's kids with support. So now we're kind of tag teamed. You find us under Delton Parents Unite and Support, but really we go by Delton Rocks, much better. And then the next thing, it's not moving. I don't know. There we go. So we have a YouTube video. Greg Forsyth makes great YouTube videos from our walks. And in December, we had another meeting and we decided we wanted to help out with Hometown Christmas. And so when kids were there after school until Hometown Christmas started, we tried to support them and have cookie making and some fun activities for them at the middle school. We also got to be a part of a suicide prevention community night, and we provided the refreshments afterwards at Delton High School. And Greg Forsyth at that time had made our great logo. So that was all happening. And to this day, we still have our annual walk, which is our biggest suicide prevention and mental health awareness promotion. And here's just some pictures from our walk. So we try to have balloons people can walk with. We sign people in. It's just a great community time. And we start at the Shack and then we walk through Delton. So it's not that far. You can do it a couple times if you wanted, but it's usually held the last week in September, first week in October. We try to keep it around that time. And here's Kathy checking people in. My daughter Tiffany's in the background. We have our feel good station where this year, because we couldn't have face painting, we had related feel good tattoos and like the comma and different sayings on them. And then also buttons people could wear in support of suicide prevention and awareness and mental health awareness. People are able to make signs to carry. And then there's also signs along the walk that have suicide prevention information and also strategies to talk to people and how to ask for help and just a whole bunch of mental health information on there that they walk by on their way to the end about Dollar General and turning around and coming back. We always want people to bring their friends, their family, their dogs, push strollers. We have it all. We even had a drone coverage this year, so a little bit blurry, but we were all there, big Delton crowd. And so, yeah, this kind of brings us back to our roots of why Delton Rocks was started, based on all the suicides that we had. And right now, Delton Rocks, our most recognized outreach is obviously the Shack. And I know probably many people in this group know about the Shack. And I could just kind of hear in the question, what does, the Shack is free clothes. What does free clothes have to do with suicide prevention? And during a meeting, we had a student whose parent came and said that the student had seen a kid in his class wear the same clothes. And it was October, same shirt, same jeans, and he had ripped his shirt and he was still having to wear it, same clothes. And he asked if he could take a bag to school, and put it in the office for him. So he took his own clothes and brought it to this kiddo at school. And there was not a dry eye in the room at that meeting when they talked about that. And people were saying, we can do something about this. This is something we can do. What can we do? And so let's start a clothing room. And, you know, some of us were like, great. And some of us were like, well, great. They're going to bring in, you know, terrible clothes and they'll all be gone in an hour. And then what do we do? Well, we're still here. It's taken off. And we really think that being a tangible outreach and being welcoming and having a place that people can come and talk and just say hi, get their needs met, get clothes. It really helps kids' self-esteem and self-confidence. And I mean, when you work and you're a volunteer there and you can tell people everything is free, pick whatever you'd like, whatever your family needs. You know, we were giving up to 20 items a person. When it first started, we didn't even have limits. People were crying when they left. It was really emotional in there a lot of times. They just couldn't believe it. And it's all because of the community. The community keeps giving to us and we keep sharing. And that's 100% participation. And I have realized how much this has touched students. Working with one of our volunteers who's 11th grade. And she said, you know, the shack started when I was in 3rd grade and I couldn't afford clothes. Our family didn't have a lot of money. And so I would come to the shack. And now that I'm grown up, she says, I can volunteer. And so she volunteers for us and she helped write one of the YAC grants. And I asked her if I could share that story and she said yes. But that's, you know, really, really emotional for me to know that we've been here that long and we've made a change in people's lives, especially our young kids. So there's no requirements, no income, nothing like that. People just come in, see a friendly face, they sign in, go shopping at our free store. And it's really an amazing thing. So this was a cute little guy. He actually found that jacket at the shack and he told us he wanted to be president. So there you go. And so that is how it started, from a single backpack. Now it's our community outreach. And we are just so blessed to be there. And we feel like we're serving every time we go. So that one act of kindness made a big difference. So here it is, starting in the one room at the middle school. They got permission to have one room and kids would come through. And it started with just a few bags. Then they ended up giving us a bigger room in the choir room. And about this time is when we started to see community participation, and the Berry County leadership team came and they brought us tubs and tubs and tubs of clothes and laundry soap. And that was amazing. And you can see our different racks in the background. And we had people making racks. We had a Boy Scout make several of these racks as his Eagle Scout project. And then we had it again help making more racks later on. We partnered with other groups. I know clothes went to different organizations and organizations would send people in. So it just really started to take off. And then we were moved across the way to the school cafeteria, the elementary school. And this was a much bigger area, which we managed to fill and meet a lot more needs. People were leaving with, you know, we had a shopping cart sometimes we'd have to take them out with. And we, at this time, got nominated for Channel 8 had a community award and we were nominated. We didn't win, but we were nominated and that was a real honor. But just seeing the impact when you have a 4-year-old come up to you and say, do you have any underwear for a 4-year-old? You know, you want to make a difference. And if we didn't have underwear that day, I wanted to go run out and go buy some. So I'm so glad for people that donate brand new underwear to us. And right now, the Delton Rotary is giving us a monthly stipend to get brand new underwear, which is so appreciated. So that flag is a big representation for us because we only had, we're all volunteer run, but we couldn't be open all the time. And so if the flag was out, you knew the shack was open when it was in the school. So that was a good area. And then this is some community groups that we've been with and we appreciate all their help, and Miss Delton, and there's Berry County Leadership Group and Amy Cherry up there making a rack for us. Lots of groups have partnered with us. 2015, we had to find a new home. The school was renovating and the bond and Sandy Hook had happened and we couldn't have people just coming into the building, and we had been able to be open on Saturdays for families, and now we were going to need to find a new place. So that was hard. I spent that summer with about 80 tubs of clothes in my garage and not knowing what was going to happen. And we really heard from people that they wanted it to continue. And so we were really blessed, I think, with a nudge from the Berry Community Foundation. The phone company in Delton stepped up and said, well, we've got this empty building. It's not great, but it's empty. And we jumped at it. And so now we are able to be right on the main street in Delton and very visible. And now they've given us the whole building to use. They were using the basement, but now we've been able to renovate the basement and have that for sorting and storage and really the working. And again, we're still hearing people's stories, and even more so now with COVID. We have had to close a couple times, but we're back open and people are still able to come in. We've reached people after fires. We have foster parents that come in. I used to be a foster parent, and boy, let me tell you, they give you a subsidy, but they're 3 sizes bigger by the time you get the subsidy. So I really know how much it's appreciated to come in. So this is what the new building looks like at Christmas. So we just really try to be friendly. We try to be warm and inviting. No stigma. People come in and we have all of your flyers up in our doorway of like Family Promise and different community service groups and the Rotary and the 211 flyer, and just try to be informative, and all of our suicide prevention materials are out where people can see them and take them easily. And so we're still encouraging that, and we don't forget where we came from. This is what it looks like on the inside, Women's Giving Circle. Right after we moved in, we were given their quarterly award, and we're able to build these racks. And the father who built these racks had actually lost his son to suicide. So it was a very full circle moment for a lot of us to realize, you know, not that we ever want this to happen, but so much has come out of the loss of these students, and we don't want it to happen again, but we aren't going to forget, and we're going to try to keep their memory, and then keep it so that other people don't go through the same thing. So that was a day of caring. They came to help us sort and do different things. This is for Kathy Forsyth, my stats lady. 65,000 items. I'm overwhelmed just thinking about how many items of clothing I touch a year. And it all comes from people like you guys who give it to us, and they drop it off, and hopefully when we're open, they don't leave it outside. But I always come to my work and I have clothing in my cubicles. I have clothing in my different buildings. They'll leave it for me, make arrangements with me. But most of the time it gets right to the shack and we sort it, and then it goes to Mel Trotter if we can't use it. So we don't throw anything away unless it's wet. Sorry, if it's wet, we're not even sending it to Mel Trotter. But so many volunteer hours, so many different zip codes, people come from all over now. It's worth the trip. And I looked back at my calendar, and I spoke at a community breakfast in 2015. And, you know, we were talking about free clothing, and we were, Kim's Cubby was open and Caleb's Closet was open. And thankfully now we have the new rack open. But it was really hard for a while. We didn't have as many options. So we're really happy to be able to fill that need. We've had to do fundraising. We've had some good times. So the Moose has helped us out a lot. We've done bingo, we've done fashion shows. We do breakfasts at the Moose, lots of different ways. Some of our crazy fun volunteers, we always try to have a good time. My daughter really liked the Paws with the Cause dog in the middle. He gets to come on Saturdays now, and he's our best new volunteer. But yeah, look at all those happy smiley faces trying to make you feel welcome. And this is our board right now. Proud to be a part of that. And again, just a huge thank you to Berry Community Foundation taking us under their wing, and Berry County Telephone MEI for enabling us to use their building. We could not exist without them. Absolutely. I mean, we went from everything was free in the school to having to pay utilities. And if we had to pay rent too, I guarantee we wouldn't be around. So that just is amazing, amazing, amazing. We appreciate them every day. And then all of our businesses have helped us out with grants and different fundraisers, and like the local grind puts a box in there to help collect things. And we try to do special things. We gave away roses on Valentine's Day, and we have candy at Halloween. And we really love having the kids come in, and we're looking forward to having them come in again, because that's a big part of what we do, is try to help let kids pick what they want. And knowing it's free, the parents can say, pick whatever you like, and parent approved, of course. But we do think we've made a difference. And again, I think there's always more to do, but we appreciate your time and letting me talk. There's some numbers for you guys. Call Kathy if you want to volunteer. We know you do. You'll be blessed. And then that's it. If you guys have questions.
Thank you, Beth. That was
Yes.
really wonderful. Who has a question? From Deb Hatfield in the chat, she's asking, do you take children and adult clothing?
Yes, we do. We take infants up to 5X adult, men, women, teens. We take purses. We take clean linens. Bedding goes super fast, same as towels, and nice shoes. Make sure they still have tread on them.
Perfect. Thank you. And what are your hours?
We are open every Thursday, 2 to 6. So that's our afternoon, evening time. And then every Saturday, 10 to 2. And right now we are limiting shoppers, but we really haven't had many lines. We're letting 5 in at a time for about 15 minutes and up to about 25, 30 items. So it's worked really well.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
And one last thing, we also are limiting our donations too,
Okay.
to 5 bags, because we get overwhelmed sometimes with the generosity.
Big bags, not your little grocery bags, like
Yeah, big bags.
Okay. and
Sometimes
then
people,
there was one final question in the chat. What are the age requirements for volunteers?
Over, Kathy, help me out. What age with an adult?
if it's with an adult, we're limited on space inside. So I would say probably over 10, and by themselves, I would say 15, 14, 15.
Okay.
And we have had several volunteers from probation and the court ordered community service, so that they usually give us one at a time. So they help us a lot. So that's been nice too.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, Liz, while I'm introducing you, if you would like to get ready to share your screen. Our next speaker is Liz Lentz, who most of you already know. She's been involved in substance abuse prevention and mental health for 30 plus years that I know of, and led our counties in many ways, including with the Substance Abuse Task Force. She has championed and provided many of the programs regarding the prevention of tobacco and substances in the Berry County school systems. Currently, she is one of many people focused on Berry County Resource Network's Suicide Awareness Initiative. She and her husband, John, live on a farm and share many great adventures there. Most recently, I believe they had a bat in their house. So thank you, Liz, for joining us, and take it away. Okay, Liz, you might be muted.
I am.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Okay. Good morning. I'm going to get myself set up here and get my screens going. Let me just say thank you to the community breakfast organizers for asking me to speak on behalf of the BCRN Suicide Awareness Initiative. There's about I don't know, 15 or 20 other people that are really working with the BCRN Suicide Awareness Initiative. So I'm honored to represent them today. It's going to be hard to follow Beth and Kathy because that is such a heartwarming, and I'm just going to say that it's a major silver lining. And you folks have quite an operation there in Delton, and you should feel really, really blessed. And I feel blessed just to know that that service is going on. So I'm going to share some screens. It's going to get a little crazy here. Everything was up and ready to go, but that doesn't mean that I haven't messed it up. Let me also tell you that the bat is still on free range throughout the house. We haven't seen it for a week and some, but he is still here, I feel certain. And last night it was so cold that all 4 farm dogs were in the house, which is never pleasant. These dogs should never be in anybody's home. So just so you know, between the bats and the dogs, nobody slept real well last night. But anyway, so let me go ahead and get started. I know that we've got a time crunch, and I'll try to honor that and be done here in a few minutes. So suicide awareness and prevention from the Berry Community Resource Network Suicide Awareness Initiative. And remember, I am one person representing many that are working on this. So the BCRN, the Berry Community Resource Network, has been around since 1993, and that's the multi-purpose collaborative body for Berry County. And you can see our mission, and they're basically to respond to needs. And in 2008 and 9, we started to become aware that there really was some interesting things happening that weren't so pleasant. And that was that Berry County's for a small rural county of 59 to 60,000 people, had some issues with suicide. And as a result of some very dedicated individuals for collecting data, we were able to form the BCRN Suicide Awareness Initiative in 2012, and we've been supported by the BCRN ever since then. We meet monthly, and I will tell you this, we are task focused and data driven. So we will look at our data, and we will also kind of generate what is the next best thing to do. What do our members and what does the community tell us that we need to be addressing? And rather than read all this to you, I will just tell you that for those 9 years, we have been focused on suicide awareness, bringing light to the fact that this is a real issue, and that there are things we can do to help those who are hurting. There are things we can do to help ourselves. We can prevent some suicides by learning skills and providing training. And we can also promote the community resources, the great rich community resources like the Shack that we have here in Berry County, because we are a resource-rich community. We're small, but we're mighty, and you know that. Community partnerships are essential to the BCRN Suicide Awareness Initiative. We would be nowhere without partnerships. And the projects that we are involved in currently and have been for the last 9 years are media campaigns. We've distributed brochures and cards, and we've developed placemats, and you name it, we've done it. Evidence-based programming is also really important to us. So we have school programming going on, and in the community, data collection is probably one of our biggest things, and other community events. So this is a slide that shows you Berry County's suicide deaths by suicide from 2011 to 2020. It is as accurate as my powers will allow me to get this to you, and it comes from lots of sources. So you can see that if it's red, and I apologize, but these are the colors it gave me. So the red indicates female and blue indicates male. So by looking at this, you can see that we know some information about Berry County. And I could literally show you data for hours, and I don't have hours. So what I will just tell you is 2012 was a year that we paid a lot of attention to, and we don't want to see those numbers again. We all, it's not always in our control to influence this, but we think we are having an impact. And I can share that we have had stories told to us since 2011 and 12, where families are, I would not have known to do this, but when my son and daughter, my son and his girlfriend broke up, and there was some mention of maybe possibly suicide, I knew to call 911, and I knew to get help to that young person as a result of seeing some of these messages. So from numbers, from data comes hope, comes action. So where do we get our data? Our champions are the Berry County Central Dispatch and their collection of suicide logs, and I'm going to show you those in just a second. Medical examiner reports, and I have that up, and I'll try to share that if we have time. The Michigan Profile for Healthy Youth Surveys and the state of Michigan. I can tell you that right now the state of Michigan's final data is usually 2 to 3 years behind what the Central Dispatch collect, and things have to go through and get vetted through medical examiner reports for us to have actual official numbers. So those numbers that I shared with you on that slide are actually unofficial, But so what I have to do is I have to stop sharing and then I have to reshare. So I will do that, and you'll have to tell me if you can see this. Can everybody see it? Okay.
Mhm.
So the dispatchers and the staff and the administration at Central Dispatch, they're doing a fantastic job over the last 10 years of collecting data. This is how we knew we had some issues. And we started off, and you can see in 2011, the dispatchers had 137 calls. And these are for threats, attempts, or even unfortunately deaths by suicide. And rather, we aren't going to spend a whole lot of time, but look at this data that we have. And Lanny Forbes and the Central Dispatch, they have gone through and broke it down by township, by age. And one of the things that we know is we have trends. We have trends where it tells us that it tends to be middle-aged or older males. And we even know some information on means of lethality. So we really have been strong in collecting data. And while that can be sobering to look at, it does help us know, where do we steer a media campaign? Who do we need to try to reach? What message of hope can hit the biggest or impact the largest population in Berry County? So we really have very good data collection. Okay, so again, I'm going to come back into this and hopefully it all works out here. So you can see, and I'll show you some other data if I can. Some of the things that we've done, this is our most recent media campaign, and I apologize for the watermark. We ran into a little situation where Adams would not give us our artwork, so you're still seeing their watermark, but this was our last campaign. It showed up in print and social media, and most importantly on a billboard. And our billboards do get a lot of attention. I want to credit this where credit is due. We have a state trooper on our work group, and he was at maybe one of his first meetings, and he just popped this out. He said, well, depression is real, but so is hope. And we all said, oh, that's a good message. So we try to get real hopeful messages out. And this is our 4th or 5th billboard, and we will hopefully be having an additional billboard later this year. You've probably seen this out and about in many, many places throughout the community. We share this wide and far as we can. We have cards and we have flyers, and this Prevention Lifeline provides materials free, and we do a really good job of getting these out and about into the community. So there's all sorts of things, magnets, cards, but even more importantly, all of our members of the Suicide Awareness Initiative and our partners, they post this. They post this on their social media, their websites, their whatever they are putting out. We have this available, and these are free to use. So if your agency has a website or a Facebook page, you can use these graphics and you can share this message. This is something we've done as well, because we know in Berry County, we have at times had years where our numbers show us that it is older adults who we need to be focusing on. Our young people may be suffering and struggling, but our older adults are really feeling despair at times. So we have had targeted campaigns towards those special populations. And then one of the things that this is just an example of one of our flyers that we developed. I didn't print both sides, but this is giving families the tools to save lives. This is a hope brochure, and it also includes things about the home, how to safeguard the home if someone you love. What are some things to be looking for to make the home a safer place if somebody is experiencing mental health crisis or even thoughts of suicide? Lots of information. So I did mention I want to show data, but I'm going to click through these slides, and then I will come back and show you some other data if I can, because I think it might be easier in terms of screen sharing. Is that okay, Linda?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay. So we are the BCRN Suicide Awareness Initiative, and the BCRN pays for the licenses for the Signs of Suicide programming. This is an evidence-based program for middle school and high school. And in a normal pre-COVID time, we would be in the last 2 years, 2018 and 19, and 2019 and 20, we were in 8 schools, and we served about 1,000 students each time. Or each year. This year's a little bit different. We hope to get those numbers up there, but as you know, we can't be everywhere in person right now. So we're trying, and we should make some headway here in a few weeks about being in classrooms doing some presentations on this. This is an evidence-based program and really has lots of safeguards in place to help young people recognize in themselves and in their friends when there is a situation that needs to be told to a trusted adult. This has been a great example of partnership, because quite often I work for Berry County Community Mental Health. We'll take in our partner colleague clinicians, and they'll help provide support because the kids are given an opportunity, the students are given an opportunity to say yes or no to wanting to speak with somebody. There's no rhyme or reason. We can see 250 students one day and maybe 7 of them say yes, they want to talk to somebody. And then we can see 200 students the next day and we can have 33 say they want to talk to somebody about themselves or a friend. And lots of people in the Suicide Awareness Initiative have made this happen. And this is one of those programs that I will be glad to see get back up and running, even during the pandemic and COVID. Kids need it. So Living Works Start is one of our most recent projects. Again, the BCRN has funded this. They've been gracious to, we were able to purchase 20 or 25 licenses and offer these free to people to take the training. And it is an online interactive evidence-based program that helps people learn and practice skills in the online portal on how to talk with somebody if there's concerns that they're feeling depressed, suicidal, overwhelmed. And we are evaluating this with the help of the Living Works company, and the feedback is good. So we will hopefully be able to offer more of these licenses because we are data driven. We want to be sure that the things that we're offering are things people want to participate in. We also have had in the last year, we've had 2 screenings of documentaries. One was Angst, and one most recently was Screenagers, The Next Chapter. We offered these to people to view and then come together with a panel discussion. And most recently we had Screenagers, The Next Chapter. And I have to say, I left that experience feeling hopeful that there are lots of things we can do for our young people, our youth, and our young adults, and even us. I'm 52. There are things I can do to limit social medias and screen time in my life so that I'm happier, healthier, and more connected in ways. Social media is here, and we're going to have to learn to live with it and both the positive and negative impacts. That is it in a nutshell. I could talk forever. I know you guys have, work to go to, but if you aren't already a member, you can join us. We need you. There's room at the table. Right now, the table is virtual, so we have plenty of room. We meet the second Tuesday of each month, and our next meeting is March 9th. Now, I mentioned this is some contact information, and I will share this with Linda and she can send it out too if you're interested or have questions. I do want to, before I do want to take questions, but I do want to, if I have time, I can't tell what time it is. My watch has decided to go on a break here.
We have about 6 minutes, Liz.
6 minutes. I have done more with less. So I'm
Great
feeling
job. Great.
okay. I wanted to share some youth data. Hannah Napolillo, who works with us, she went ahead and put the MyFi data into these tables. And can you see these?
Yes.
Are they coming up? Okay.
Yes.
So we took the MyFi data, of which we have quite a few years of data. Obviously, we don't have 2019 or 20 data because of COVID, but we watch this data and we know that our high school and middle school students are seeing increased rates of feeling hopeless or helpless or anxiety or depression. These are students that over the last, 10, 11, 12 years, you can see that there is unfortunately an upward trend of students who have seriously considered attempting suicide in the past 12 months. And here's what they tell us about making a plan. And we're always concerned about those middle schoolers. It's not, you can see that in 2009 and 10, that's really when 2011 and 12 is really when social media took off. And it's really also where kids started to have phones in their possession that could take them across the World Wide Web and to all these things. So there is a correspondence there. And then you can see, these slides are what get us into classrooms doing things like signs of suicide. So again, we are data driven and we are dedicated to collecting that data. I did want to show you the medical examiner's report. Let's see if I can bring that thing up. I feel like my screen sharing time has probably come to a great close. So I'm not going to attempt the screen sharing, those people that are in charge. I'm just going to tell you that if you have time today, look up the annual report from Western Michigan's medical examiner. They cover 9 or 11 or 12 counties, and Barry is one of them. And there's some good information in there as well. And I will just say again, thank you for having us speak. When you see me and you see me talking, remember there are a lot of other skilled, caring, dedicated people behind me that have helped me make this presentation possible, because we can't do this alone. We have to work together. We have to braid our resources. We have to continue to do things. One thing I did not mention is that we are always looking for things, and we are working with healthcare and schools to look at possibly bringing in another evidence-based program called Blue Envelope. So that is kind of one of those next steps for us. So questions, I'm happy to take them.
Can people email you to get those brochures for their group or company?
People can email me to get whatever they want, and we will get it to you. Some people don't want handouts right now because of COVID. So, some of their outreach, getting stuff around, but I don't know if anybody's ever seen my office, but I am what is known as a pile manager and also a box queen. So I have boxes and boxes and piles, and I can get you what you want.
Nice.
Or somebody else can, but they just might not be able to find it.
What other questions do we have for Liz? Liz, that was wonderful, and thank you for observing the time. I did not restrict your screen share, so I don't know, that must be another thing about the system that I don't know yet.
No, it's not you, it's me. I mess everything up. You saw how I mess things up.
You did great. So I wanted to thank Liz and Beth this morning. Really important information and wonderful presentations. I had a poll created. Obviously, it's not in this link. So I will be sending out a poll. Please take time to answer it, or a survey. Please take time to answer it so we can continue making improvements. And this was a great turnout this morning, very important topic. And I just wanted to say thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Martha, are you still on?
Yes, I am.
Oh, Martha, unfortunately, me and all my electronic copies of things, with this working remotely, if I can get into my office and I can find some electronic copies of the flyers, I will. One of the things that we did was we had them all printed professionally. So probably the best is to get you some of those if you want them, because they don't, if they're like a 4-fold brochure, they don't print up real well on, standard paper, and then you start having, okay. So I will get you whatever you want. You just send me an email and I'll make it happen. In terms of electronic files, who knew that COVID was going to happen and everything needed to be electronic, right?
Right.
So, okay. Well, thank you. I'm sorry I screen shared too early.
No, it was great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.